Hi everyone, I'm Amanda. Today we're gonna do some Figma fundamentals. So does everyone here have Figma installed? Cool, so we're not gonna go into installing things. So basically it's just going to be a walkthrough of making a basic profile page, and you'll learn like the UI of Figma, the cool tools, and just tips and tricks. Okay, nice. So this is kind of like a teaser of what you're going to be making. It's a basic profile page that'll show the interactivity and components of Figma, and we'll basically learn all of that: plugins, frames, pen tool, exporting, whatever. So you guys can go ahead and open up Figma. So once you open up Figma, you should be greeted with a page something like this, and we'll open up a new design file so we can start from scratch. So this is basically what your screen should look like. This is what all new design files look like. And just to make you more familiar with the UI, top left corner is their menu tab where you'll be able to see whatever options that Figma gives you. And then here is the toolbar where you can create frames, shapes, pen tool, text, whatever. Over here, right now, it's just your untitled name of the file, but once you create more components on your draft, it will be replaced with different actions you can make depending on what component it is. And then here's your layers. This is where all your objects are going to show up, your canvas, where you're going to make your objects, and then on the right is a design or property panel where you can start adding interactivity. So that's just yeah, that was a basic overview of what Figma looks like. So we're just going to get right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is create a frame. You can click here or press F. And then for our purposes today, we're just going to make a phone screen. So I'm putting the iPhone 13, 14, but it really doesn't matter what you do as long as you have a frame on your page. And if I'm going too fast or you need help, let me know. But it should be pretty intuitive. Cool. So now let's start building our elements. So the first thing we're going to build is kind of that trapezoid-ish figure that we first saw on the banner. So we're going to go to the Tools tab, click Rectangle or press R, and then just do something basic for now. You can just change it up to however you see fit. And what we're going to do with this is that we want to make it a little bit more extra. So we're gonna go up to the Actions panel. You can see how it's changed once you've selected an object, and go to this one, and then move up this vertex a little bit to kind of create this shape. Everyone got that? Yeah, what's up? Oh yeah. So let's say you have your rectangle, you're going to select it, and then you'll see you have three options that pop up on the top. You want to select this one, the Edit Objects one on the left, select whichever corner that you want to change, and then drag that up. Good? Cool. All right. Next we're going to do is create a circle for where our profile is going to be. So ellipse or O, and then you can press Shift to make sure that it is a circle. Otherwise, it'll probably come out like an ellipse, but pressing Shift will make it a perfect circle. So we'll put that right here. You can change up the color so you can differentiate it a little bit from the rectangle, but it's going to be replaced by your profile picture anyways, so it doesn't really matter. All right. And if there are any arrangement issues, your circle might be under the rectangle or whatever, you can drag it along these layers to kind of show which one has priority. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is create the three panels that we see over here, which should show your basic information. So again, we're going to create these rectangles. Looks like this. And we can either align it like this, or if you're not really good at using your fingers or your trackpad, you can go to the right side design panel and align horizontal, and it'll go automatically to the center. And this, if you learn from UI UX with Read, you'll see that like square stuff isn't really good because it doesn't look that nice. So we're gonna round that out by pressing, if you see these circles on the corner, by dragging that in, and you'll see that it'll be rounded. Or you can just change this, put whatever numbers you want to round it out. So you want 3 of these, so we're gonna copy and paste these, and what I find to be easier is to just select this and then hold the Option tab, and it will automatically make a copy. Or you just can Command-C, Command-V, whatever works for you guys. All right, cool. Is everyone at this stage? Awesome. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is just to import your profile, or like import whatever pictures you have on your laptop into this thing, the circle. So basically there's a few ways to do this, but the easiest way to do to import pictures is to change the fill from a color to an image. What the hell? Do I need a professional team? Oh. Oopsies. That was a video. Basically, you want to go to the third panel and choose your image. Okay, ta-da. So basically, put in any images you have. If you don't have any pictures of yourself, just put in whatever. There's also other ways to do this. Like, for example, you can do clipping mask, which is similar to Adobe Illustrator, which I'm just going to show really quick. Okay. You can also do this. Oh, that's huge. So find any picture that you want to be your background. Put this over the rectangle, which we're going to try to make it a background of. Then select the gradient, make sure it's in the frame, and select the rectangle you want to change, which should be this rectangle. And then select clipping mask. And you should see that it creates a mask group, which serves as your background. And you want your picture to appear over that, so drag that to the top. And if you missed the masking thing, it doesn't really matter. It's just like a cool thing that you can do. You can just import it as an image like you did with a profile. All right, so this looks pretty good, I guess, right? You have like the basic contents that you want on the screens. And yeah, you now learn how to import designs and images into a Figma file.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Can you show me how you did the picture again? Sorry,
Like the profile picture?
yeah.
Yeah, of course. Basically, it used to be a fill of just the color. So you just want to go to the third icon and then import an image of your choosing.
Did you do the background again?
Yeah, the background. So basically, it's okay. Like you can either change the fill just from here, choose an image, or if you want to like try something new, you can import an image wherever. Select that image and then select the rectangle. Like make sure both of them are selected on the layers panel, and then choose the second action on the action bar and then clip it into a mask. All right, all good. Cool. So the next thing we're gonna do is discover what plugins are in Figma. So plugins are pretty powerful because they offer so many new things that just extends the functionality of Figma. So what you're gonna do is go to the plugins place in the toolbar, which is right next to text. Click on plugins and then search for Iconify. I already have it like installed, but basically you just search up Iconify and then install it. And that should not take that long. Or basically like any icon library that you liked, Iconify, Icon 8, Font Awesome, there's a lot of different ones out there. So once that's downloaded, we want to just add in a few icons. So for this project, we're gonna add in 5 icons. First will be home. And just find whatever one you like looks nice, and then just drag that out somewhere. So we're gonna do home, person, calendar, arrow, and menu. Yeah. Oh, what's up?
Sorry, how did you get the icons again?
Yeah. So basically, you go to the plugins part from the toolbar, and then once you get to plugins, you search up Iconify, which is ICONIFY.
Oh,
Yeah, and then you install that plugin, open it, search for whatever you want.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
What was the fifth one you said to download?
Menu.
Could you just repeat all the
Yeah, of course. Home. Wait, let me just. Home, human, person, calendar, arrow, menu. Okay. And then once you have that, basically just drag it to your panels. I'm also gonna change these panels really quickly because they're a bit too big. Okay, so we're just gonna drag these into your panels. So calendar is the first one, home to the second panel, and then what's next? Person to the third one. Yeah. And then menu to the top right. And arrow. This is a bit small. Arrow to the top left. Okay, so that's kind of what it should look like right now. And then I'm just gonna rotate this so it's a back arrow. And like yours might not look exactly like mine. Basically, Figma, do whatever you want, make it look how you want it to look like. So what we're gonna do next is change up the colors because these icons specifically don't really pop out from the dark purple black background. So I'm just gonna select both of these and then change the colors to white. And then for these ones, I want it to look a bit more fancy. So I'm gonna make it a gradient with the colors of Hoya Developers. Sorry, I think I'm going a little bit fast. But if you do need me to stop anything, or if you're just trying to make pretty icons right now, just follow along. Cool. So I'm gonna make a gradient for all of these. Like you can't really tell that it's a gradient right now, but I think it looks nice. Cool. All right, is everyone like does their page kind of look something like this? Or are you nodding your head?
What?
Oh, you were nodding your head that way. I forgot, shaking your head. Wait, why are you shaking your head?
I don't want to shake my head.
He was lying, but does everyone have a goodish looking page? Cool. All right, let's move on. So the next thing we're going to do is just add text. So we're just going to add a text box. I'm just going to put my name, Amanda Howe, and then make this bigger because no one can see this. And then I'm also going to add another text box as a subheading. Yeah. So that's basically what it'll kind of look like. And then we're just going to add more text boxes on each of these panels. Cool. So here, I'm just gonna add the date I joined Hoya Developers, which was sometime last year, July 2023. Actually, we'll just put my birthday. August. And then here, I'm gonna add my hometown, Foster City. It's a beautiful city. It's my favorite city, actually. And then a bit about me, sophomore at Georgetown. Okay, so I'll give you guys some time to add some text. I don't really know how long it takes for you guys to add text. I'm assuming like 2 minutes or so. And then just like make whatever else changes that you want to this. Like I'm just gonna add a stroke to my photo because I think it'll look nice. And yeah, so just fiddle around with your Figma until it looks something like this, where you have the icons, you change the color of the icons, you have all this text on your screen.
So I'm trying to like zoom in on my image, right?
Yeah.
So my image is like, I want to like not crop it, but I want to like zoom in. How would I do that?
Is it already in the circle?
Yeah. So see, I want to like zoom in on my face more here, but I have trouble figuring that out. I'll experiment.
Yeah.
What do we put at the bottom part? The person?
Just put like whatever. I was a sophomore at Georgetown. Oh.
No, I don't know. I was curious. For the text, did you just kind of drag it to something that looked right and then drag the other ones matching it, or do you have a? Or do you in general recommend a specific way to set it up? That makes sense. No, I mean, yeah, where you put it on the rectangle. You pick one that looks right and do everything based on that, or do you have, like, a way of
basically.
aligning it?
It has like guiding lines that snaps it, but also you can let's say like group all of these. And then you can like, let's say I move it somewhere here. I can make it like aligned to the specific rectangle. Okay. Is everyone at a good stopping point? Cool. So we can preview what our screen looks like really quickly by going up to the top right corner where it says present. And this will open up a new window where you can kind of see what your design looks like so far. Yeah, so basically it will look something like this if you followed through so far. But this is like really static, right? Usually when you go to a website, you're able to press whatever buttons that's on the screen, or you're able to like have certain elements of interactivity. So that's the next thing that we're going to do. But before we add that, I'm just going to clean up my layers really quickly, because you can't like really tell what things are on the side. Like I don't know what rectangle each thing is and what these vectors are. So you guys can do the same. I grouped each of my panels. So I selected all of these elements, then did group or Command G. And then on the side, you can see I have these 3 elements. So I'm going to rename these to each of the panels that I have. And then on the top, I also have these like bounding boxes of the symbols, because I just dragged out the vectors of the symbols instead of the bounding boxes. So I don't really need these anymore, so I'm just going to delete these. But it just depends on basically how you moved your symbols around, if that makes sense. Okay. Cool. So the next thing we're going to do is creating components. So what components are is that it's able to add some sense of interactivity to your Figma design. So for example, I want to, like for these 3 panels, whenever I hover over it, I want it to be slightly darker. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select this panel, then go up to the actions bar, and it will say create component. And I want it to be darker when it's hovered on, so I'm going to add a variant. Basically, this will be what the first stage is, and this is going to be like the second kind of variant of the component. So I'm going to drag this out of my frame because it's no longer going to be part of my frame, but I'll add it back in later, and it'll kind of be more, you'll kind of see why. So basically, what's that? Like how did I group it?
Yeah, like how did you move it out of like department?
Yeah, of course. So, like here's my panel. I'm gonna go up to the action toolbar. So this one, create component. So now you'll see like the bounding box is purple, and then I'm gonna click it one more time to add a variant. Yeah.
Is there a back button in this or no?
Command Z. Yeah. Yeah, so basically you should be seeing double, and then I'm gonna drag both of these out. So it should look something like this. So I'm gonna click on the second box specifically and make it a little bit darker, just so it can be differentiated. And then now, like once you have this, I'm gonna go to the Assets tab on the Layers panel. And you should see that you made, like this is the local component that you just made, and then I'm just gonna drag that back. Cool. So once you have this asset in, it's not going to do anything right now because we didn't tell it to do anything. But instead, we're going to add an interaction. So on the right panel, we're going to go to the prototype tab, add an interaction. And this interaction is going to happen while we're hovering. And it will be to change to the second variant. So this panel component has two properties. First is the default, which is the light gray that it used to have, and the second is variant 2, which is the dark gray. And we're just going to change the transition to dissolve so it doesn't look as clunky.
Can you go through that one more time?
Yeah, of course. I'll demonstrate it with the second one. Or actually, yeah. So I'm going to first create component, add the variant, and then make this a little bit darker. And then I'm going to go back to the assets tab on the layers panel, and you should see that there is the component that you just created. Drag the component from the asset panel into the design file. And then once this asset is in the canvas, is this good? Like, you guys are here? Okay, cool. Go to the prototype tab, add interaction, and then by default, it's on tap, but we want to change the action to be while we're hovering over something. And then change to, and then we want to change property 1 to the second variant and dissolve this so it looks better. Did you follow through with that? Yeah.
Can you do that again?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so basically, I'm assuming everyone has made a component, like made components, added a variant, right? We want to drag it out, change up the color so we know it's like actually changing. And then, so once you have this, like once you have one light gray, one darker gray, then you have the layers panel on the left. You want to go to the assets tab of the layers panel, then select the component that you just created, and then drag that on to the Figma page. So once that asset is dragged, you want to add interactivity, which means that you're going to go to the right panel. Right now it's the design panel. You want to go to prototype. And once you're on that prototype tab, you can add an interaction, change it from on tap to while hovering, and then change the action from none to change to, and then change the property to the second variant, and then make it dissolve. So did everyone follow through? Yeah.
I'm not seeing the interactions when I open prototype.
Let me look at that. Yeah, it's because you have to make sure that the object's selected. Okay, so if you followed through that, you can open, yeah, I'll get to you right after I show this. You can open up your design again, and then if you like hover over each of these panels, it should change based on the hovering. Does anyone need help? Okay, cool. So we're gonna move on into creating an overlay. Yeah, sorry if that was a bit challenging. I'll go a bit slower. Okay, so next, we're just gonna make a rectangle on the side. And then you can add whatever you want to this. I'm just gonna add my headshot again. I'll just make this like pretty quick, add in text. Okay. I'm just gonna make something that looks like this. It's not gonna look good, but it's whatever. It works for our purpose. So I have this group. I'm just gonna rename this to overlay. I'll give you guys some time to just like create this on the side.
Can you
Yep.
do that one more time?
Yeah. So basically, I just like made a rectangle. And then I just started copying other like elements on my page already. So I copied in my profile picture. And then just put in like whatever placeholder text. Yeah. So basically, just like make a rectangle. Just like put at least one word in it. It doesn't really matter. And then I just grouped that all up and then called it overlay. Okay. Does anyone need more time to fix it? Yeah.
Like, could you just show how again?
Yeah, so basically, it's honestly, you just need a rectangle. You honestly don't need to put anything in it. Like, you can just put a rectangle, put a text that just says overlay for now, and that should work. And then just group it together. And then rename it to overlay. So if you're like a little behind right now, just make a rectangle that says overlay on it.
How do you group it all together?
It's Command G, or you right click and then press group selection.
Click and drag to select mobile things, or hold shift and click each.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Everyone should have a rectangle at this point. Or if you don't, let me know. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna make this a prototype. So we're gonna make this a component. So we go back and then click create component. No need to make an extra variant, just make it one component. And then we're also gonna make our profile picture on our frame a component as well. So both of these should be components. Both of them should have purple bounds over it. And what we're gonna do now is add an interaction to this profile picture, because we want this overlay to appear when we click on our picture. So make sure this is selected, the profile picture in your frame. Go to prototype, add interaction, and then this time we want this to happen on tap. So on tap, we want to open overlay. And we want to select this overlay. And make sure the settings of close when clicking outside and add background are both selected. Everyone good with this step?
How did you make it overlay again?
Yeah, so as in like, how did I make this?
Yeah.
So basically, I just like created a rectangle outside of my frame. Oh yeah.
How did you make it an overlay? Like I made the rectangle.
Oh, I just,
So that you can select it as.
oh yeah, I renamed it overlay, but like whatever it's called in your,
Oh, you can select it.
yeah, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
How did you create a component?
So if you select a rectangle, like if you select your object and then on the toolbar on the top, the leftmost icon should say create component if you hover over it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did you make the interaction again?
Yeah, so basically both the overlay and the profile picture should be a component. And then once you do that, you go to the prototype tab, add an interaction on tap, and then select the open overlay choice, and then dissolve, and then I just selected these two options. Yeah.
If it's too big when we do it, should we just shrink the rectangle so it fits on the screen?
Yeah. Mine might be a bit too big, but yeah. So once you play that, it'll basically, yeah, mine's too big, but yeah, once you open it, like click on the profile picture, then you should be able to see the overlay. Yeah. Everyone good on that, or are there any difficulties? Okay. Cool. I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller. Okay, cool. Does anyone have any other questions? All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're just going to show like how you can move between different like pages. So I'm just gonna move all of my panels up so it'll be easier to make a new frame. Okay, so we're just going to make a new frame. So if you remember how to do that, it's you go up to the top or press F and then have a new frame. So a new frame should appear to the right of your initial frame. And then I'm just gonna rename my frame to my name. Okay, so what we want to do is link these two pages together. So the first thing we're gonna do is make like some elements on this page. And just for the purpose of demonstrating the pen tool, we're just gonna make like abstract art on the second page. Okay, so you go to the pen tool. If you ever use like Adobe Illustrator in class and like Bezier curve or Bezier curve, this is basically this is like drawing class. So you can make like squares, or you can make random squiggles if you like drag while you drag the point that you worked on. And then you can just make like random ass shapes. It like doesn't really matter. So let's just say you have these two shapes and then okay, wait, never mind. But let's just say you have these two shapes. And then we'll just make this like a specific color so it's easy to see. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to make two components on here interact so that once you click one icon on one page, it'll go to the other screen and vice versa. So what we're gonna do is click prototype, and let's say we want, like whenever you click the back button, we want you to go to this page. So you'll see that there's like a plus icon here. You're just gonna drag that and drag it to the second screen. And then you don't need to change any of the interactions that pop up. And then let's say when you click like either of these shapes, you want to go back to this page. So we're just gonna drag these shapes to this page.
Sorry, how do you get the plus sign to appear?
What's up?
How do you get the plus sign to appear?
Basically, you need to make sure that you're in the prototype tab, and then you can hover over any of these components. So once you do that, you should be able to jump to the page that you just created. So my prototype was linked to the back button, so if I press that, you'll be able to see whatever new page that you created. If I press like one of these graphics, it'll go back to this page. Yeah.
Do you go over how you link them again?
Yeah, of course. So basically, it's like if you hover over any element on a page, a plus button should appear, and then you drag that to whatever page that you want. If that makes sense. yeah. So that was just like a really rudimentary overview of Figma, but there's like a lot of cool things I can do. I'll just show like a project with like more interactivity that I created for a club. Like here, I was just creating a Venmo budget feature, but if you look at like the prototype tab, there's like things that go on. I was like, it was like a lot to do. It was like a mess, but basically like you can add in so many forms of like interactivity. Like basically you can do anything you want and it's super fun. Like you can add in whatever and change up your design or show specific things that can also be really fun. So yeah, I highly encourage you guys to like go back, or if you have time right now, change up this page to make it look like something that you want it to look like. So for my like actual demo that I have that's on the GitHub, I created like a mini Hoya Developers page where I added in images. I used the pen tool to make like a wavy thing, and then added interactivity from this picture to this page. So I highly encourage you guys to just like let your creativity reign free and do whatever you guys want. But yeah, that was Figma. Exporting. Yeah, okay, so exporting, probably the most important thing of Figma. So basically, if you want to export your screen that you just created, select the screen, go to design, scroll to the very bottom, and then export your screen. And you should have your screen perfectly exported here. And you can also just like select as many screens that you want to export. Like I can select these two and then export both of these layers, and then wait. Did this work? Oh yeah. It should export with both of these things. Cool. All right, any questions? Yeah.
So is the point of Figma to like plan out like just visually like how what you're gonna build is gonna look basically?
Yeah, basically. It provides like a good starting point for developers, because without that, it's just gonna look like really, really bad because they don't really know what your app is gonna look like. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to show was dev mode. This isn't like too important, but it is like an interesting feature. Oh, I can't use dev mode anymore. But basically, when it was still in beta, like you could turn on dev mode and then add in a specific plugin, and then it would generate code for whatever like language that you're using, and you could copy and paste that anywhere and have it as good skeleton code. But yeah, basically Figma is just to plan out your ideas, and like however nicer you make it look, the better it is for your team. Yeah.
When you export it,
Mm-hmm.
like if you export it and save it, when you open that, will you be able to like interact with it?
No, you won't be able to. But you can like share Figma files with team members. Like you can share, invite specific people, publish it, or copy a link. And there they can like interact with the specific elements, but not the images that's exported.
Okay.